times we get it wrong. Well, this Saturday, 7th May, the eve of Mother's Day, on Men Talk, we have invited a woman to tell us men what women want. So join the Men Talk team of George Thomas, Riquen Allen, and me, Noel Professor Richards, and our guest, the woman of promise, MadonnaJ, for Men Talk, Women Talk, Men and Women Talk. It's this Saturday, 8 p.m. on FBN TV, Isaac the Promise Facebook page, and to Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise, sponsored by Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady. Hey, this is Noel Professor Richards, inviting you to join me every Saturday night at 8 p.m. for Men Talk. We will talk about how to live, how to love, and how to lead. It's 1.5 hours of men talking about all the things that men talk about. So don't miss it. It's Men Talk every Saturday at 8 p.m. on Isaac the Promise Facebook page, FBN TV, and Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise.
Hello.
Hey Jack, you missed the meeting yesterday, boy. What happened?
Andre, I was under some pressure, boy. Well, I know Uncle have diabetes, high blood pressure, and poor circulation. He couldn't even walk properly yesterday, so I took him to the Feet Lady, boy, Dr. Anaya Tony. And let me tell you something, when they're done with him, he feels so good. You know the man forget he walking stick by them? When I go back for the next session, we'll get back, man.
I must send her number to my cousin. She have a pinched nerve, lupus. And I think she uncle got a stroke, you know. I had to see about my back pain too.
Well, Andre, what are you waiting for? Take these numbers down one time. 360-5166 and 478-7416. Dr. Anaya Tony, boy, the Feet Lady from Anaya Health and Wellness Center. You can't go wrong.
To the men who feel like you're at your wits' end, don't know how you got in this mess, you're standing there looking, saying, where do I begin?
3 minutes past the hour of 8. We are on to Men Talk with the professor and the men, and tonight the women as well. Welcome, Professor. I hope that you're hearing me. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear this evening. Loud and clear. Good evening to you. Good evening to Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to the rest of the world, wherever you are. Locked on to this program. We know people from all across the globe tune in to this particular segment called Men Talk. But if you are new and you're tuning in for the first time, maybe you're traveling on a maxi or taxi, a double-decker bus in London, wherever you are in the world, Men Talk really is a segment that we have every Saturday night at 8 o'clock for 1.5 hours where men get together to talk. We talk. That's what we do. We talk because talking is important. This world, the entire universe was created by talk when God spoke. And he said, let there be light. And so we understand the importance of talk, and that is why we are talking. We also understand that when you talk, you empty yourself. You say what is on the inside of you. And sometimes what is on the inside is not the right thing. So when you talk, we get to understand how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what your thoughts are. And if we're not correct, then we correct it. If we are correct, then we learn something from you. So talking is good. And well, we understand as well that women do more talking than men. And because women do more talking than men, it's easier for women to talk. But for the men, we realize that we have to really create that environment, that atmosphere, you know, for you to talk. And so because of that, we have created this program. It's about 16, we're on 17 years now. We've been doing this once a week. And so today is no exception. We are here to talk, and to talk. Today is a talk with a difference because the format of the program really is to encourage men to talk. But what we have found is that over the years, you know, we have a lot of women who listen to the program. We do not allow women to call in, and let me just say it's an interactive program. So you, as a listener, get an opportunity to call in and share your views, ask your questions. We do not allow women to call in simply because we have created a space for men to talk. But we have found that over the years, the women who have listened, you know, they've said from time to time in the studio, see what you're discussing there, that is not so, you know. You all say this about us, you all say that about us. Women, that is. And they tell us we get it wrong a lot of times, but they're unable to share that with us. They're able to say, although we have an opportunity, women have an opportunity every week to text in to us. And let me give you the number one time, 275-1981. Where, the women get a chance to ask their questions, hear their views. But somehow, I guess they seem to think that texting is not as good as speaking, calling in. So over the years, they have said that we discuss things that they want their input. And we have never really allowed it. I think twice before on this program, we had women. Once when we had Dr. Cheryl Holmes, many, many years ago, sharing with us. And then I remember, just today, I remember there was one particular time where, for a brief time, we had a brief interview with a woman, a female, and that is because she was inviting men to a particular conference. Well, not so much a conference, it was an outing up in the mountains where men were, and I think, not I think, but I attended that myself. It was way up in the mountain where men got together by themselves in a nice remote place. And we had a great time. I think George was there as well that time. So those are the only two occasions that we have really had women on the program, and we have been doing this program. If you multiply 52 weeks by 16 years, see how many programs we have had. And we've only had men basically. Tonight is an exception. We have been toying with the idea for a little while now to get the men and women together. Let's talk. Let's talk together. And so tomorrow being Mother's Day, I discussed with Madonna, who carries on the program, Woman of Promise here at Family Focus, at Isaac 19.1 FM, the female version, really, of the mentor. And we were trying with the ideas, kind of teasing back and forth for a while now. And I said, listen, why not? Let's do it on the eve of Mother's Day. Let's have a man-woman talk. And so she accepted the challenge. So Madonna is here with us today to talk, and the theme tonight is what do women want? We men want to find out, because they say we don't know them, we don't understand them, we don't know what they want. Well, we'll get a chance to find out tonight. But before we introduce our special guest, let me just introduce my co-hosts for the program. I know George is on. I don't know if Riquen is here as yet. George, good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening, Professor. Blessed evenings to you. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is definitely a pleasure to be here. To all of the mothers who are listening, happy Mother's Day in advance. I am definitely happy to be a part of this program.
Wonderful. Riquen, are you there, sir?
Yes, Professor. Good evening. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, Riquen. Loud and clear. Good to have you in on the inside with us again today. Wonderful. And of course, we have Adesol in studio. We also have Raymond Keel in studio. And they too can chime in at any time during the program. Let me introduce, well, I am not able from where I am to tell who's on and who's not on. So I am trusting and hoping that our special guest for this evening, we are actually creating the history. This is a historical event, because even though we've had women before, it was not a program where we were kind of discussing the women and men. We had one woman, as I told you, she came on, she did an interview really highlighting the what was it? It wasn't a hike, it was just an event. Let me just call it an event. And then Dr. Holmes, who shared with us. But this one is going to be interactive. And so this is an historic event. So let me introduce to you the Woman of Promise that is heard every Wednesday at 12:15 on Family Focus Broadcasting Network. The host of this program, MadonnaJ. Madonna, good evening and welcome to Mentor. Is Madonna here? Madonna, you have to unmute, please. You have to unmute. You're still muted. You are still muted, Madonna. Okay, can someone indicate to Madonna that she's still muted, please? Minute, she's gonna come back. I think I'm able to read lips. So we're gonna come back to Madonna, but I wanted Madonna, when you come back, please unmute yourself. Let me just tell you up front that it's an interactive program in case you're new. Now, usually at the top of the program, I say that we take calls for men only. Well, tonight is going to be different, and that's one of the historical things about tonight. Because even though we've had 2 females in the past, we still took calls for men only, not females. But tonight, ladies, tonight, and you can get excited about it. Tonight, ladies, we are going to allow the ladies to call in and ask the question, make a comment. And because it's a historical occasion, it's a one-off occasion, ladies. So you better make use of the opportunity tonight, because I'm not sure when it's going to come out again. And it's one of those, you know, like those, what they call these events for the, it's not sci-fi, but one of these galactic events. I don't even think that's the word.
Eclipse.
Well, like an eclipse, kind of like eclipse. Eclipse is one of the events, but you know, you have certain events that doesn't take place every year or every few years, like the Halley's Comet or Halley's Comet, as some people say. Those who saw it the last time will not be able to see it again, because it's going to take a while and many years for it to come around again. There are certain events, cosmic events, and I still don't think that's the word I'm looking for, that take place every once in a while. That if you know, when it happens, you better, you know, present yourself there and be a part of it, because it may not happen in your lifetime again. Well, this is one such event. All right, so we don't know if and when this is going to happen again. So ladies, you better, you know, make use of the opportunity to be here tonight and to call in. Let me just give you the numbers straight up. The numbers are 480-4121, 480-4121, and 463-7208, 463-7208. You can also still send in your WhatsApp messages to 275-1981, 275-1981. So those are the 3 numbers that you're communicating with us via. 275-1981, that's the WhatsApp number. 480-4121 and 463-7208. So I don't know if Madonna is back. Madonna, if you are back with us, please unmute and you know, just say hello to the folks. And I have to be guided along. So someone tell me what is happening in studio. I'm seeing Madonna. Yes. Well, I'm seeing you, Madonna, but I'm not actually hearing you. I don't know if it's me. Anyone else hearing her? Okay, guys, are you here? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
All right, you're hearing me, but we're not hearing Madonna. We're seeing her, but we're not hearing her. So I'm gonna have the technical team, if they could assist us. In the meantime, just to let you know, we are also live on FBN TV. We are live on FBN TV. We are also live on our Facebook page, Isaac the Promise. Isaac the Promise. And we also want to say thank you to our sponsor. It's important, you know, that we have sponsors for this program. That's the Fifth Lady, MadonnaJ, the lady who does reflexology. And if you want to be a part sponsor to this program, you can please give us a call, 622-8981, or just call the station and let them know. Or you can call me. You can call me. My number is, you know, public number 290-9521, 290-9521. Just call and indicate, say, well, look, you know, I enjoy the program. I want to contribute to the program. I want to keep the program on the air. And, you know, you advertise your business while the program is going on, and we give you ads as well. So if you want to be a part sponsor of the program, please feel free. Give us a call. All right, so we say thank you to MadonnaJ, the Fifth Lady, reflexology lady, and you also can be a part of it. So I'm not sure if Madonna is ready as well, but just again, to introduce the theme for tonight is what women want. And I'm anxious to find out. Now, I've been married for a number of years, and if I tell you that I fully understand women and what they want, you can call me a liar because I don't. And I'm not sure the men, even the men on this platform, even Riquen, who has been married, George, who's not yet married, but seems to understand a lot about the ladies, based on his utterances during the program. George seems to understand quite a lot. But I'm not sure George can say that he fully understands women and what they want. Maybe I'm just kind of guessing here. I'm not too sure. So, but I certainly don't. So I'm looking forward to hearing what is happening tonight. So, Madonna, are you there? Let's see if we can bring in Madonna again. MadonnaJ, the host of Woman of Promise here on Isaac 90.1 FM. The Promise. Madonna, come in. Madonna, come in. All right, and you're still muted, Madonna. So if you could unmute.
Mute. Hi, you hearing me now? Hello, are you hearing me now?
Okay, so well, someone in the studio.
I'd have to plug into here to hear you.
That's why we're not hearing her.
Oh, she can report this too.
All right. I can tell from here that she's still muted. So if someone could assist, please, Sola or Raymond in studio, please let Madonna know that she's still on mute. She needs to unmute, not remain on mute. All right, and if you've just joined us, you're listening to Men Talk on Isaac 19.1 FM. So far, it's only been men talk. It's only been a man talking.
Can you hear me now?
Talking.
I need the headphones, Sheila.
Yes. Yes.
That's not you doing that to come true for this mic.
Yes, Madonna, we're hearing you.
Then me. No, I need the headphone. Hi, you hearing me?
Okay. Hi, yes. Yes, we are hearing you.
You hearing me now?
Yes, we are. Yes. We are hearing you loud and clear. Okay. So good evening and welcome, Madonna. I wonder if you are hearing me. We are hearing you, we are seeing you. Technology in the 21st century.
Let me see where it was, Sheila.
Okay, Madonna, you're coming across the air. Come on.
Yes.
Can someone assist Madonna, please?
Finally.
Finally. Yes. Are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you. Yes, I am.
You're right, and I'm hearing you loud and clear. So we are on, and we are on loud and clear. So welcome to Men Talk. And as I was explaining to the folks, we have been toying with this idea for a little while now, to get the men and the women together. We have a male program, we have a female program, and it's about time we come together to talk. And tonight, the topic of discussion is what women want. And you are the representative of the ladies, just as Adam represented all mankind when he ate of the fruit and we all became sinners. Well, you are here to represent all the ladies. So whatever you share, you are sharing on behalf of the ladies. What we also said is that tonight the ladies have an opportunity to call in, which is not usual for Men Talk. For Men Talk, only men are allowed to call in. But tonight we are gonna allow the ladies to call in and to share their views, ask their questions, because we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So, so again, welcome to. How does it feel to be creating history tonight, Madonna?
Well, very strange, but I am really glad to be here because on my avenue out with the ladies, I kept saying, the men had so many days to find out what men want, and we ladies seem to know what we want, so it just took us 1 week, And in our survey this evening, you know, I'll bring to the table, coming out of the different meetings and our surveys, what women are saying that they want. A lot of things are similar though to what men would want. And I was saying to someone that is to bring that cohesiveness. That's why I'm here, because they thought I would be ambushed this evening. And I was like, no, not at all. This is to bring the cohesion between men and women. And hence the reason we want to know, they want to know what we want to know what they want, and then that cohesiveness can come up.
Correct. You know, it's not a war. We're not in a battle. We're here to learn from each other, to understand actually each other. Because most of the time, whenever there's a breakdown in any relationship, one of the first things you hear is, my wife doesn't understand me, or my husband doesn't understand me. There's this lack of understanding between male and female, which causes a lot of problems. So we're trying to bring that level of understanding. We're trying to understand what women want from us, what is expected of us as men. And we're prepared to listen. We are prepared to listen. Women say men don't listen to them. So tonight we are prepared to listen to what you have to. I'm going to throw the ball in your court to start off, Madonna. Tell us. I mean, you said you've done your survey.
Yes.
So let's hear from the lady.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me here on your platform. And also, I want to publicly say thank you. Reason being, I always talk about we wait until someone passes and then we read so much about what they did, how they impacted our lives and everything like that. And I was reflecting on when I started radio on Love 94, it was with Professor. So, okay, that's news to many. And it was just a few years ago. He was always a lot older than I was. And, yes, it was on Love 94 just the other day, right? And so thank you for that opportunity. And I never looked back. And it was always been just progressive. And we ended up back right here on ISAC 98.1 FM. So I really want to say thank you for that, because you were the person that God had used at that time to get me into media, right? And so you're hearing it while you're alive and well. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Let me just say before you continue, as you say that, I want to say no sincerely, I've watched you grow on the radio. I've watched you grow from back in the days of Love 94 to where you have your own program. And not just your own program, but you're constantly evolving, doing something new. You're very creative, on media, and you've brought something in. I mean, you might have started this new, but where you have, when you road you have traveled and where you've come, I really am glad when I sit back and I listen to your program. You've done quite a lot. You're doing quite well. So I must commend you.
Thank you, Professor. All right. So what the ladies want, okay? So based on my survey, I've had a few women. It varies with ages. Some were pastor wives, some were single women that are now single parents, some with teenage children, some with no children. So it varied, right? So first I'll go to the younger person. So younger persons actually were saying that respect was very big on their list. First, of course, everybody's saying a man of God, a man who prays, and many times you would hear women always love men with potential. But one person clearly stated not just potential, but you should see their progress over the years. Although they may have met you and just said, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that, and there hasn't been a history, because obviously it would be in adulthood, you all would have been connecting, and because you would have these dreams, yes, but there has been no progression over the years of what you would do. Maybe you would start something and finish. Maybe you're not consistent in finishing things and that kind of thing. So one person particularly said not just potential, but progressive potential. And they were talking about respect as well, and that goes both ways, because I know that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the others for men, right? But women are saying as well that they want that kind of respect. And a young lady, not married, she also said she believes that we go to school to learn everything else, and when we get a certificate when we pass the exam. And with math, that's the only certificate you get where you don't do an exam or anything, and you learn as you go along. And she was saying, just as we learn with everything else, men need to find out from us more and learn from women more how and what we want, so that we could understand each other better. So that was respect, that was progressive potential. When you hear that, they're coming and they're saying that potential, and they have these goals and dreams as well, and that kind of thing. Obviously, they want someone to love them sincerely. And again, respect came up a number of times. Everybody was just saying that plenty. One person said they want that person who can protect them, who they can rely on. One girl said she don't want a mama's boy who is always there. Everything is mommy. They have to go to mommy for reference for everything else. And she said that because based on your age, you should have had some sort of responsibility. You never pay a rent, you're 40. You never, was on your own to uphold certain responsibilities. So she was saying she wants somebody who is responsible, and not somebody at that age who is now coming out and have to start to do all those things, because at that age you should have had a better knowledge of different responsibilities where that's concerned. And it was based as well on situations being around persons who she said she was around, and one man, he was 40, never paid a light bill in his life. And their lights got cut because she was thinking he was going to pay the light bill, and he just didn't, because he didn't think it was very important. Right? So she was talking about that level of responsibility that they should have when they reach a particular age. If you want to chime in, tell me. Coming on.
Well, so far, we're hearing some things here that are pretty interesting. I want to go back to one of the beginning thing, and this thing about potential. They want to see progress over the years, because they don't see any consistency. And I know that is something that some women have said before, that that a lot of men, basically they feel men are we're not ambitious enough. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. That we're not ambitious, that we don't go after things the way women would like to see us go after things. But the thing is, women are more go-getters than men. I have seen that over the years. And a lot of relationships, the woman would tell you, well, if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have accomplished this. If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have gotten that. If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have had the house that we have, or the car that we have. And it somehow, it seems to be in women's nature to be go-getters and to get things done. I don't know if that is an indictment against men. It's just that women are more prone to do that than men. And so I am thinking that if there is a couple and she is the one who pushes to get the thing, then so be it, because it's a partnership. And if she is the one who is the go-getter, if she's the one who gets things done, then why call the man lazy? Why call him? Because it's a partnership. And we're one, if one, I don't want to say fail, but if one is better at something or more prone to do something, then so be it, because it's a partnership. So I'm just wondering if it's, fair for men that women say that we're not progressive enough. I'm not sure if that could be a point of debate.
I think I'm glad you said that. Oh, okay. No, I was saying I'm glad you said that, because when it comes to that type of thing, is the support they're saying they need. For example, I had someone on my show, and she was saying when she married her husband, he didn't know to do a lot of stuff. She was into real estate, right? And they had a child, and that particular evening, she had just started real estate, and she asked him to watch the child. He was kind of like a stay-home dad. And he said, no problem, I'm behind you, you go get the sale. Now, he could have said he going online with his friends, he have this and that to do, and wanting to be competitive with her. But he saw the value of they coming together, and even though at the time, she was the one doing the real estate and working, his support was to take care of their son. It so happened that that was her first sale in real estate, right? And because of her nature, and she's Trini, now she lives abroad, very, very wealthy young lady. She went to Holy Name Convent. Pardon? Yeah. And with that now, she was happy. She always says Donnell was so supportive. So here's this, right? Now, people may not agree, and some people might cringe when they hear it. So she has been the breadwinner. She's making the money. And he got this idea, as she's into real estate, he will start to learn construction. Ping, ping, support. He started thinking of how he could help her. So he got into construction, and there was this deal that they had. She's the breadwinner, she's the wife, and he went to her and he asked her, you know, he told her, he said, well, there's this deal. If I fix this property and we flip it, we could make so much money. And it was all the money they had in their account. And she said, well, okay, you know. And she said, you believe it would work? And he said, yes. And she says, well, okay, she'll give it a try. Listen to me. You see her on, what's the name of the TV right now, where they do houses, and that's how rich she is. Okay? And he just evolved because she supported him as well. Although he took all the money, she said, well, if he had lost that, she don't know what happened. But she trusted him at that point in time. And it worked out really good for them. And they got into real estate and he started fixing the houses, she started purchasing the houses, and they started even selling other properties, right? So why I said all of that was the support that he found that he could have given to her. He looked and he saw, instead of competing, like I said, he saw a way to support that they could do something together. Now they have their own brand, they're all over the world, they're on HDTV, they're in books, there's American news interviewing them, and all of that. And they started off two young people, well, she's from Trinidad, he's from abroad, and it is not the norm where he had a degree and all those kind of things, but because he was very supportive, they evolved. So that kind of support.
Yeah, and that's important. You come back to that. I see Riquen with his hand up. Riquen, you have a question or a comment? Feel free.
Right. Good evening again. Hi, Madonna. Welcome.
Hi, Riquen.
All right. So I am a little interested in finding out what does respect entail for a woman. So when a woman say they want respect from the men, how does that look? And you said there are a number of women who responded in that vein. You know, they want men to respect them. So what does that look like? I think that's really going to be insightful and helpful for us.
Right. So a young lady in particular, and this was one of the younger ones and an older one as well, she was saying that she don't like anybody screaming at her. So she wouldn't want a man to say, girl, come here, what's going on with you? You ain't here calling you or what? She's like, no, I don't want nobody talking to me like that. So she actually also said, and we were, you know, a bit amused of it, but then when we thought of it, it made sense. The approach as well, she was saying, is that you all can find ways to speak to us where you could get the best out of us, just as we have to find ways to get things out of you all. for example, the whole football thing and sports thing with some men, don't cross that line. That's a sin in itself, right? And we would not know that until a lot of men spoke about it and understand that space to respect. And with regards to men, giving them that space and speaking when you believe that is the right time, when something is wrong, the approach, right? And for women, actually, they're saying, yeah, they would appreciate that as well. They don't like the roughing up and the ragging up and talking to them as they please. So what they were saying is that they could find out from women the approach in speaking to women, and that doesn't make you be less of a man if your tone is a bit softer than normal. Right? And that is how it came across, that the man might feel, we feel like as a man, why had to talk to you so for, But she was saying she can't handle that at all, because she sees some men, the way they talk to women is really embarrassing to some women, and that's disrespectful. Right? So that was one of the major things, the tone in which they would approach a woman or talk to them.
Are there any other areas?
Folks, you're listening to. Let me just say, Riquen, that's for those who are now joining us, that you're listening to Men Talk. You might be surprised if you're just joining and hearing the voice of a woman. You are listening to Men Talk on Isaac 94.1 FM, The Promise, FBN TV, and our Isaac The Promise Facebook page. We have a woman in studio today sharing with us concerning what women want. And we want to hear, we want to know, because too often there's been this tug of war between men and women, and there's a lack of understanding. So we want to clear the air. We want to remove the doubt, and we want to make clarity in the relationship between men and women, and that's why we're here tonight. So, Riquen, you were saying something. Go ahead.
Right, so I was actually going to ask if there are any other areas, and there are, and I think one of the important things where this is concerned is for men, or for us as men, not to see women as inferior, because if we see them as inferior to us, then almost automatically disrespect will manifest in different forms. So for example, the opinion of the woman may not be valued, and that may come across as a level of disrespect. So there are some of us men who like, we don't really want to hear what the woman have to say, or we don't take what the woman says seriously, and so it comes across as if, well, why are they saying not important? And I think that is one of the areas where, as men, we can show more respect to our women folk by valuing their opinions. It doesn't mean we go along with everything that they say, but at the end of the day, it's to provide a listening ear, to acknowledge, okay, I hear you, I see where you're coming from, and work together perhaps to a mutually beneficial solution. So that's just one of the things that came to mind. I don't know if there's anything else along those lines that anybody else would want to share, and even have our audience chime in, Pro.
And also not belittling them. She said, yeah, not belittling them.
Yeah.
I wanna touch on something that I know would raise a lot of hairs, eyebrows. Okay.
Before you, I don't want to come on that point yet. I just want to make one other thing on that particular point. I think we in ourselves, all of us, we have what we think are areas that men should talk about and women should talk about. We feel we are experts in particular areas and women might be experts in other areas. And sometimes we see women crossing over, and that's where the lack of respect comes in. So if my wife or my girlfriend wants to tell me how to make a pillow, well, that's all well and good. You know, women are supposed to cook. So we will listen to you. But tell us something about sports or construction. As far as we're concerned, were you telling me that had nothing to do with you? You don't understand. I'm a man. I know better than you. And that is why, we tend to belittle women because we feel that there are particular areas that men are men's domain. That's right. So any opinion in those areas, women are seen as second, third class citizens. And I think that's one of the challenges that we have in the 21st, stereotyping, in the 21st century, in that because we feel we are men, there are certain areas that are ours. We are experts in those areas, so a woman cannot have an opinion. Or if she does, we look down on those opinions, because we are men and they are women. And that's one of the challenges that we do have. Yeah, but Madonna, you were going to bring up another point. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to just dive into one of the areas that we want men to know that it's okay for us to talk about it. And when we talk about it, doesn't mean we are gold diggers, and it's the financials. A lot of men do the financials. Because you all say we want security. I see Riquen face. Right? How the bills want to be paid if you don't have a job, but you want to step to the sister. You have to be real. And there's such a thin line between it. And we want to have that transparency. And sometimes women who work for more money than men wouldn't want them to know exactly the amount just because they don't want them to feel too bad, no. Right? Because they okay, they have that, but they don't want them to feel too bad. But then sometimes the man might get offended, I go in there, because he find he should know and the exact figure, and, So they were saying that when they're talking about the financials, it's not that they're being a gold digger or it's that they have any ulterior motive. They just want to know, so that they could see how we could work together. And that's a very, very sensitive and touchy issue. See, all the men are just staring at me.
It is a sensitive and touchy issue. As you say that, I want us to open up the live early today. And folks, you listen to the conversation as we go along. If you have an input, because as we said again, earlier tonight, ladies, you have an opportunity to call in and to share your views, ask a question. So let me just state the numbers. You can call at any time as we're discussing, because we're going to move from one point to the next, and we may not be able to come back to an original point. So the numbers are 480-4121, 480-4121, 463-7208, 463-7208. And of course, the WhatsApp number is 275-1981. So if, as we go along in the conversation, male or female, you have a question or a comment, please feel free to call us, to chime in, and to give your input. We want to hear from you. It's a rare opportunity, ladies. So we're calling on you, and men, you have an opportunity tonight now to engage the ladies in some conversation. Okay, so I'm kind of curious with this one, Madonna. Why you said the ladies feel that men would feel how if we know how much money they work for?
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand why that would be an issue for men, because for me, I wish my wife worked for twice, 3, 4, 5 times the amount that I worked for. I don't have a problem with that at all. She could work for 10 times the amount, right? Because we understand our finances belong to us. I think one of the things, though, is that there are women, and this has been ever since I was growing up. There are women who somehow are able to have a secret account or a secret stash or secret something with the money. I don't know how they do it, but somehow, even even growing up, you hear your mother, your grandmother, some of them not even working. They weren't even working, but yet somehow they had money hidden away somewhere. And so women seem to always have this ability to hide money, right? And that is one of the things maybe I as a man have a little concern with. How in the world could that happen? We are supposed to know all that is going on with the finances together, and yet somehow women are able to do that. So, and I know there are men who feel like me too. How is it? And if it is that you can keep that from me, then I don't know what else you're keeping from me too. And I am hoping that we are transparent and we are open. So that's one of the things I think men might be concerned about. That's why we want to know how much you're working for. We want to know everything. We want to know what is 100% of their salary. Yeah. So I don't know what other men think about it, or the callers. If you want to call, don't forget you can call us 480-412 and 463-7208. Most women, I guess, would look at this as a good thing, but some men may not see it that way. Yeah. So, what say you?
But what if you were working for more money than her? A lot of men who work for more money as well, are they not transparent in sharing with their spouse the more than that they are working for? You find when they work for less than, they want to know, but when they're working for more than, they don't want to share.
Professor, if I may come in, if I may come in.
Adesola, want to say something?
Go ahead, Adesola.
This situation with money and finance in marriage, and I don't want to belittle the point, because I know that it is an issue in a lot of people's relationships where finance is concerned. But I think I understood very clearly, Professor, when you spoke just now about you're having a wife, she could work for 50 times what she works for now, because I think in the ideal situation, the man, when two people come together, even more so the man, his desire now is for the family to be happy. His desire now is for everybody, and so my finances is for the family to be happy. My finances is to ensure that everybody has, the children have what they need, and the wife has what she needs, and everybody is happy. And extra to that, of course, I would, you may have little hobbies that you like to do. You might like your car, you might like different things. And so extra to that, and I say extra to that because your first feeling is to ensure that the family is happy. So I think anything outside of that arrangement has a level of selfishness in it. Because how could I see, my child needing something, a sneakers, or he wants a toy, or he wants whatever, and I decide that my car and the new rims I have to put on it will come before that, or my wife, wants to do something, and that's providing that I'm the only the breadwinner of the house solely. Everything comes in me making sure that the family is happy, and so I think when that model is there, I can't see why we have so many financial, back and forth, and who hiding our money, and because they're hiding the money for what? My family is my priority, and anything extra to that now is for me to do my hobbies, and then in any balanced relationship, the wife, when she ensures that everything is good in the house and the children have what they want, she would want you to be happy and to be able to do your car or to do your TV or whatever you want to do. So in an ideal situation, and ideal still even makes it seem like it's unattainable. I think in a normal situation, it's supposed to be like that, and anything extra on both sides, even if the wife has something extra, and extra meaning she wants to do something outside of what the family wants to do. Because if the child needs a shoe and she has money to buy the shoe, then she'll want to do that first before deciding to do some extra thing that she wants to buy plants or whatever, she ain't gonna leave out a shoe to buy plants. So I don't understand a lot of times. I understand, but I don't understand, why, we have, because I think a level of selfishness is in there where I want to do my thing outside of what the family needs. And that's the only way I could see where we had to fight and hide and even if my wife is able to push away something, like, as we said, we grew up seeing the grandmothers and the mothers doing that. I have heard men speak and they say, boy, when that woman pull out that $5,000.
It will help.
It correct, so I'm being vexed. I ain't vexed to the point of, I did that all the time, man. So I tend not to sometimes understand these situations, but I also understand it in some ways.
I think what she said when I was writing, what she said was for men who have money then, who salary then is more than the woman, when she asks about finances, it's not that she's a gold digger, but it's just putting everything on the table then. That's what she was saying. She is a established person, so she is at a place where she has no problem, she says, in submitting. But she says finances, every time you ask about that, men think that you're gold diggers. So she said she just didn't want them to think that when that is brought to the table, it's not that you're a gold digger. It's just that we're putting everything. That's why I mentioned it's easier when the woman is working for more, that everything comes out. But if the man is working for more, they tend to think differently. I don't know.
I see Riqen's hand is up. This is still up, or you now putting it up. Riquen, you have something to share?
Yes, certainly. Well, there's a whole lot that could be said in this area, right? So we all familiar with this saying, my money is my money, and his money is my money. You familiar with that, Madonna?
Yes, I've heard that before.
Yeah, we
right. So
what about our money? You forget the our money part. And his money is our money too.
Hear that. I don't hear that much.
Oh, no.
But the thing is that I think a lot of women have been trained or taught by either their mothers or senior women that don't be dependent on a man. Don't be so dependent on a man that you don't have things in place for yourself. And that's all well and good, no problem. But if we coming into a partnership, which is what marriage is, I think all issues financial need to be ventilated, need to be shared. So what the man brings to the table, what the woman brings to the table in terms of your sources of income, your savings, etc., 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 because transparency fosters trust. And in a lot of cases, because the foundation in terms of communication with respect to finances has not been laid, the two parties could come together and say, okay, our combined income is X amount, our bills are X amount, we are each allowed to have our own account, and that is for our personal management. Nothing is wrong with that, but it's something that has been discussed between the two in advance. So there are no surprises. There's no wandering, down the road. So once that foundation is laid, where there's an openness and a transparency, whether the man makes more money than the woman or not, the idea is that we are coming together as a partnership to be able to win. And once we approach things from that perspective, whether I making more money at this point in time, because situations could change.
Yes.
The man could lose his job, the woman could lose his job, and then you have just one source of income, and we have to adjust and we have to adapt. And so whatever we're doing, it's important that the channels of communication are open, the rules of engagement are established, because what one couple may agree to, another couple may have a different set of rules when it comes to finances. The key is, I believe, that once we agree to this, then let us stick to this. And if we operate outside of that, then that could be problematic. So I'm just throwing that out there. At this time, I see George's hand is up.
Well, it's quite okay, brother. I was
George,
listening to your point.
Sorry, George, before you go in, Professor, I don't know if you want to take the calls as they come. Professor?
Yes, we'll see calls as they come, yes.
All right, so let me take a call at this time.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, go ahead.
In the line of finances, I would say, somebody said that if a woman have a secret stash, the husband would want to know what else is she hiding, but it's not hiding. A good woman must always have a secret money in the house. Nobody know about it but she, and when this time comes, and that money is needed, the husband will be very happy. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir. And I hope everybody was able to hear, right? Yes?
I think we got the gist of it, that a woman should have a secret account. That's basically what you're saying. And that's how we grew up. That's how, when I was growing up, that's what I would be saying. That a woman should, even if she gets $10 from her husband, she could put away $1 somewhere, hide it away, and he himself doesn't know. And that's all well and good. My thing is, though, that if that is so to assist the family in time of need, then that's wonderful. But if she's putting it away for herself, that's where we have an issue. Okay, but George, you were making a point. Let's hear from George.
Yes, just to speak to that before I make my point. Women tend to have an uncanny ability I've learned over the years that men just seem not to have. And that is some way, somehow, they have that unique ability to save in small amounts. Men would look at $5, $20, $100 and say, man, that's not enough for me to save. If I have to save, I have to put away $1,000 plus. But a woman always has that level of consistency. If she gets $20, she puts it aside somewhere. If she gets $5, and what happens is that usually those small amounts eventually mature into larger amounts. And while we as men are waiting for that big sum to save, we find that women have these stashed away savings because their discipline to save smaller amounts usually exceeds our ability to save larger amounts. Leaving that right there. Now, one of the intriguing things that I kind of picked up on where this conversation between man and woman and finance is concerned is it's ironic that we are able to trust each other as man and wife with our bodies and not with our money. I think that the main thing that we need to look at here needs to be that trust factor. Communication is great and necessary, but if there is no trust, this is where you're going to find that level of discord taking place in a marriage. This is where you're going to find that you're going to have that mismatch of I'm making more money than you and I need to hide this and you need to hide that and whatever and stuff have you. And once that trust factor can be managed effectively, there, I believe, is no stopping that couple, because now they can focus their energies and their attentions on dreaming for the family, dreaming big for the family, growing the family, teaming together with what they have come together with and building the family. So, that's one of the things that I think we need to look at, both men and women needing out of each other, that trust element that transcends just the physical, and goes all the way into financial, spiritual, and all the other aspects of what it takes to be a couple. And that's where I would hold my tongue.
I agree, Professor, and everybody else with what George is saying. I think when we get into a situation where there is issues of who works for more, and I think a lot of that comes from, or the base of that, or the core of that comes from a mistrust kind of a situation, like a fail safe. It's like, if this thing ain't work out good, I make sure all my money ain't spent out, or when you have that kind of a thought pattern, and granted, that could come from history, that could come from whether you were taught that from your parents, whether you saw that happen in your parents' situation, whether you were in marriages before and you saw it, or you were trained along that line, so that it has those feel safe, and what money you have put away, and or the woman always thinking, I had to make sure I have a thing, they don't spend out all my money, because it's always a kind of, if thing don't thing out, me want my thing, or I want things to go sour. But outside of that, as long as we're in a partnership and we're in a, as I keep referring to what Professor said, I think it's so clear. I'm not concerned who works for more. I'm not concerned who works for less. What you work, I work for $5, you work for $15. We now have $20. We have $20 to spend, and that would mean might mean that you the female may have to hold the mortgage, or you, the female, may have to hold some of the bigger ticket item, and I may hold the other one. But it is not really you holding and it's you spending out your money, and I does only spend. It is us paying the bills that we have. And I think even people who are hearing me speaking now, or hearing this conversation, and they still, you could say that if you really check where your feeling is coming from, it's coming from an untrust kind of place. It's coming from, you don't know what has happened out here. It will have a base there, because outside of that, it is we doing whatever we're doing. We have money, because I can't see if my wife was holding some of the big ticket items, and by chance she come and lost her job, she could be in a bad situation. How could she be in a bad situation? Because I am there to ensure, right, girl, now we see what we could do. It is always us moving, and if we have our mind, God, forbid that we, as long as we break up, we going right down to the grave with the monies that we have, and we spending it. So I tend to believe if people really examine somewhere the finance and who have money and who blocking money, I think it really comes from a place of mistrust, or a place of, if she have access to all the money I have, she go this and she go that. Because then again, if I have a husband and he's paying all the bills that he needs to pay, if he has in excess a next $10,000 beyond the bills that he pay, and he chooses to fix the car with it and whatever, why am I vexed? Why am I concerned? Why am I upset? He is paying all that he needs to pay, doing all that he needs to do. If let me say I'm not working as the female and I have something to do, he giving me the money to do it. Why had I study? Yeah, but I want to know how much you have, because I feel you have an next 10,000 to do what? I want to know all what you have for, so that I could do what with it. Because I'm getting all that I need to get, nothing that I call for, nothing. The house is leaking on one side and you're fixing a car with the $10,000. You're doing all that you need to do. And as long as that is your purpose and your position there, I can't see where we had to study how much he have and thing, and I know he have a next piece of money there, and that's just my thoughts.
That goes right back to the whole Donnell and Lisselle story, with her being transparent, she being making more money than him at the point in time, and being able to be as transparent and looking at it as their money. And the question is, what women want. So, can I
take a call at this moment? Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, afternoon.
Hi, good evening. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to tell you about that solar contract. When me and my wife get married, we didn't have nothing. Right? When I started to work, I used to bring home every cent. Matter of fact, the people at the time used to come home. Friday and Saturday morning we will open and decide how we spend this money. If we owe anybody any money, we will pay them out of it. Right? Did that for years. Things started to get good. I buy a car, set a taxi, plus doing my work. And I used to bring home every cent. So it's in the back of my mind that my wife is taking care of the financial business that because it is beneficial to all of us. Right? When things get financially good, I come and open up bank minimum. Right? She started to hide money. So when she started hiding money, so now I became that because I always keep them pristine. I would bounce up money here, there, and everywhere. And I used to ask her, what is money doing here? She said, well, she put it, she hide that money for you. But at one time, she mother told her, you should put away some money. Right? That person away some money. So she started hiding the money. And she accumulated, at one time she told me she had $80,000 in the bank. Now, I thinking to myself, well, yes, she put away that because things financially better with us now. And in case anything would happen to any one of us, because when I asked her about the divorce, she told me. She said that things better with us now. And she personally said that if anything happens to any one of us, we have something to fall back on instead of we're going to put money borrowed in. But she had a good idea, which I thought was a very good idea. But I find she should have consulted that with me. Right? Business become, I make plenty money. My money for the day, my day pay was roughly $7,000. So taxi would bring in about $2,000 a day. The business was selling between $3,000 to $5,000 a day. Right? Recently, come on, we separate. I will make a long story short. We come on, we separate. And one day, I clean up the place to wait for the shop this late because we separate now. And I started going through the bills and I started to see we were selling roughly more than $50,000 a month in two of us.
And what?
So I went to she and I told she, I said, well, are we business was doing all good here? She said, yeah, we were selling way more than that. And when she done tell me that, no, she get up and she go on inside because she mouth slip. About last year, somebody she come and she telling me now. Because I still support them, They pay like bills. All of we not together. Still try to run the house wherever the case may be. She wear anything, the sun, no glasses, anything. And I would buy the glasses or give she the money, majority of the money. Right? I still do that. She telling me, give she 2 years I give in the house because I end up, it's 2 properties I have. Right? Give she the house for the children to stay because she left. And I went and get she find she and when she back home and after she stay in the house. And I will stay in the business. I convert this stock home into a little apartment if I just stay. Right? So she telling me, give she 2 years, not 2 years, give she 2 years ago, again, and she have enough money to buy a property outside there. Now, you think about the price of a property outside there with house and land and everything, right? And I still supposed to know that. No, you got to think about that. No, I honestly believe when she knows how to put aside the money, well, this is what I would like to believe, I should say. That when she was hiding her money, she had good intentions. But when the marriage fall apart, she ended up keeping her money. And I know a house and a land over there and all of this money, the cheapest thing in my day is about $700,000. And both of us as Christians.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for sharing. I think I got the gist of it. I'm not too sure I was hearing clearly, but I know it's about somebody putting aside money over a period of time, and this is one of the downsides of the putting away money, because if you putting away money in a relationship and the relationship dissolves, what happens to that money? Who does it belong to? Does it belong to the couple in the relationship or the one that was putting away the money? And this is one of the downsides or the challenges we have in situations like that, where one person is putting aside money without the knowledge of the other person. Because I could well say, well, I saved the money, that's my money now. And the other person could say, well, I have a claim to it because then I was contributing. So again, this is not a matter that is easily, you could say year on year too, just like that.
Well, I think, Professor, if I could add as well to that scenario, because it's a good scenario from what we were speaking about. So here it is, the couple was, as my aunt and they used to say, handling money. Money was flowing through their hand as a couple in terms of business and whatever. Part of your organization should have been savings. Family savings.
But just she was saving
for
herself.
Part of that's a different thing.
That's when they should have communicated that to each other.
If you as the husband, correct. If you as the husband say, well, I know my wife. It was not that the agreement between him and her that every month we saving some money because money.
That together.
She is. It's like traditionally where this whole idea of putting away money start, I would believe in its purest sense, is that majority of wives were housewives, and the men would come and they would give them the money to do the groceries or whatever. And in that groceries money, they put you at 20, they put you at 100, they put where they save. They were able to save what you were given for the house. And it accumulated that. If you as a couple having a business and money is flowing, part of your family thing is saving.
And that should be a discussion, and that's one of the things they were talking about when they were saying that as women, what they wanted was that effective communication with men. And that's laying down all those guidelines.
No, mind you, that is still separated. Now, if we as a couple, money is passing through our hand, we're paying all our bills, and we also have part of that is every month we will save $3,000. That's what we agreed to. It should be an account that both of us have access to and have,
But I want to know your thoughts
if you could take $10,000 and put away in excess to whatever we decide to save, that's a separate.
Now, in saying that, Adesola, I was hearing a couple. They were talking about how they manage finances, and the man, he was making more money. He was the breadwinner, and he was saying actually he gives his wife a big allowance because she's the one who would see about the children. She's the one who would see about the grandchildren. He said he don't have time for that. He just makes the money, and they have two separate accounts, yes. Then they have the account that both of them use, but he gives the majority of the money to her because he knows and he understands running the house, dealing with the children. He don't have time to deal with all of that. So he gives her the money to see about all of that and the grandchildren as well. So
is that an allowance or a bill?
No, that's an allowance. That's an allowance.
But that's two different things,
Allowance is for you.
Yeah, but
correct. Allowance and a bill is two different things. Children are a bill,
Yeah, but no, what he's saying is that, okay, so if there's $5,000, I'm just using that figure to take care of the children. We have 3 children. They had to go to school. They had to pay for the transportation. He says even for birthdays, she see about all of that because he knows she's the one who carrying that part of the home. So he don't have time for the gifts. It'll come from both of them. But he can go and shop and buy the gift. She does that. So that's why he says he gives her most of the money so that she can handle all those things. So that's what it entails. How much of that money is hers? He gives her a separate account for money to go to her. And for running of the house, he but gives the majority of the money to her to run the house. So he would, let's say he'll give her $10,000 to run the house, $5,000 for her. He have his separate account and that kind of thing.
Operational skills.
Yeah. So, but that communication, that's the thing I came back to, that whole communicating thing. They mentioned that communication is vital for them as well as women communicating with their men, and I guess putting all those plans in place as well. And on the, just quickly, on the whole hiding money, I used to wonder if my mother used to grow money because they always really had back in the days. And any part of the house, they would just go and come back out and just bring out a stack of money for you. And you don't know where they had it.
Yeah, but the point is, as in the case of this gentleman, what happens if the relationship breaks up? Who does that money belong to? That money that was hidden, that money that was put away. Who does that money belong to? Does it belong to the couple, to the family, or does it belong to the person who was putting it away? And that's one of the challenges you're going to have if a situation like that occurs, where there's money now put away, and the person who's putting it away can claim it as that is mine. I saved that. I put it away for me. All right. So that is one of the challenges that we do have, and that's why it's important. You see, the communication is important, and the organization is important. I believe when it comes to finances that let us pool our resources. It doesn't matter who works for what. We are paying the bills. Because what happens in a lot of instances when it is decided that one party takes care of these bills and the other party takes care of the other, you could have financial abuse. You could have, well, I'm supposed to be paying the light bill, but I vex with you. So you know what? We pay no light bill this month. So the lights get cut because I decided I am not paying it because I am angry and I'm vexed. If we have a situation where the bills have to be paid by us, then it doesn't matter who is angry, who is upset, what is going on in the relationship, the bills get taken care of. And that's the model that I prefer, rather than, let me do this and let you do that. And that also could be the onset of financial abuse, where one person can hold the finances as ransom over the other person, especially if one works for more than the other one. So that's one of the challenges that we have. And the best model is let us pool our resources. Whatever you work for, if you work for one and I work for 10, or I work for one and you work for 10, we have 11. We have 11. And let's pay the bills with the 11. We can have, that's where the allowance can come in. I can have an allowance from that, and you can have an allowance from that. And the rest is to be paid. So what you do with your allowance, that's up to you. You can do whatever you want with it. Go and do your nails, do your hair, whatever. That's up to you. That's yours. Okay, so even if you put that aside, whatever happens in the relationship, that is yours. Because it has been agreed on that is your allowance and this is my allowance.
I have a question.
Finances is one of the areas of
very touching.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Areas of marriage that cause one of the most.
I have a question based on what Adesola was saying, right? With the heart factor of the couple, it should be for us. So even if then that you have to pay the light bill and you vex, the light bill is for the house, the light bill is for the children, could get internet and everything else. So why, when you do that, you affect the family unit, whether you vex or not? And that is where EI comes in, which is something very important as well. That whole emotional intelligence as well, all that came up with what women are saying now needs to be looked at with that same thing. Somebody attempt to spite somebody, a couple might do somebody unit might do that, and then that's not fair to the entire unit. So even though you may have that responsibility of coming together and it may be a small bill at the point in time and you vex, you can't just not pay the bill. You're affecting the entire family when you do that.
Agreed. And that's the way it ought to be, but that's not the reality. Right? The reality is this is what people do. There are people who do that because it gives them a sense of power. It gives you a sense of, hey, I can do this to you. And that's one of the challenges. It's 9:19, folks. We still have a few more minutes to take your calls. If you're listening to us here on FBM TV, Isaac the Promise Facebook page, or Isaac 19.1 FM, the numbers to call are 480-4121, 480-4121, and 463-7208, 463-7208. You have a question or comment based on what we've been discussing, please feel free to call us now or send us a WhatsApp to 275-1981. We only have a few more minutes to take your calls. I thought the ladies would have been calling in today, seeing that you've gotten this window of opportunity. Ladies, we're not hearing from you, don't know why, but it may not come around again.
Well, they had a lot more stuff, so maybe you'd have to have me again, because there was so much more. There was so much more that we need. You all took 3 weeks to tell us what all you want. I mean, you just have 1 week to hear, so they don't really care about what we want then. I mean, how are we supposed to feel about this?
We want to hear. We want to hear. So we're gonna continue this, but we want to have the ladies call in now if you have a question or comment based on what we've discussed so far.
We have a call, Professor.
And yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Go
It's
ahead.
quite an interesting discussion. It's how should I say? We have transgressed or graduated to finance. There are so many other areas of concern with what men want and what women are looking for. What occurred to me just now is that if you give your allowance to your school child, you give her, him or her, his allowance, are you going to tell her what to do with it? You tell her, well, if she wants to decide the same, it's your child, huh? It's not your wife. She has a choice. So we must keep that in mind.
Thank you so much, sir. Very, very, very correct. That's why I think it was so.
That goes without saying, I think.
Yeah, that's why I think it was so important for us to determine what was a house, what was for the bills, what was the person's allowance. Because I really, as professor, you ask the question, and my thoughts. This is my thoughts. And my thoughts, if we sit, we have these finances, we pay all the bills, money is flowing, we pay all the bills, all that you need to pay, you pay. And if outside of that you could amount $80,000 extra to that from allowance, I can't vex with that. And I think, God forbid that the relationship turns sour. As long as what was needed, I don't want to hear after I find out you have $80,000, it has something when pay, it had thing owing on, it had thing this and that thing that money was passed for and it wasn't used for. But outside of that, if you could amass after 10 years or 15 years of being together $80,000 that you have it there, and God forbid we split up, I can't really. That is your money. That is yours, because the things that were supposed to be paid were paid, and if you amass that, I should come out and say no. But that $80,000 that you squeezed past days, my money is squeezed. That is not my money. We pay the bills, and you were able to hold back 50 cents for 15, 20 years, and you make up that money. This is how I would think. But we have a call, Professor. Let me see if I can take that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good night.
Hello.
Yes, good night to the panel.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, interesting topic. I think after all is said, we will still be exploring this topic in many ways. However, the issue with saving at the side and all these things, it have a lot of trust. You have to come together there. And one of the things is, as the brother who called in earlier on, when he said he truly believed when his wife started to save, her heart intent was really good. However, when that small sum of money becomes a large sum of money, what can happen and can always happens in relationship is once there is a window open where I don't like something what you do, and that not liking something you do, whether male or female, and you decide to hold that thought in, what that thought does is come and cause a trust issue. And now that little bit of money that you were saving on the side to do good now becomes a weapon. Because here what happening, you would start to think, okay, I was saving $10 and $5 all these years, and it now comes to $500,000. Now, this man or this woman acting like this, man, look, let me go. This is the danger in saving it. However, once that issue comes up, then you have to challenge the heart issue now, where we start to fall out of love for one another. Because once you love somebody, it doesn't matter how much they make, if they're working or they're not working, if they have more than you or they don't have more than you, we love each other. It doesn't matter who have what. It's ours anyway. But once the conversation, the communication stops between the two people, that is where the danger come in. You know what I mean? And this is just my point on the whole matter, yeah?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have any more calls? We're going to have to wrap up here. It's 9:26 I see the time. So what we're gonna do, Madonna, I know you have more to share. based on the survey that we did. So we want to continue this program. If you're available next week, Saturday, we will want to continue because we want to hear the other areas that you would have, the information that you would have collected to share with us concerning what women want. So we want to hear more about that. But as we wrap up tonight, I want to give everybody an opportunity to just close off. We just have a couple more minutes. So perhaps, George, we haven't heard much from you. Just remember, we only have 3 minutes, George. So George, I'm going to start with you and give everybody an opportunity, 30 seconds to just round off. George, are you there, or do we just call that George?
Oh, sorry about that. Just a little technical difficulty with the reception there. Yes, I'm here. Trinidad and Tobago, men, you've heard some of the voices of our women speaking to us. It's not to fall on deaf ears. We need to change. We need to work on stuff. We need to continually build ourselves and develop ourselves as men of God. And we need to work towards that blessing in our family that we ought to be. And we need to develop ourselves and grow as men. Yes, it's true, we've reached adulthood, but growth doesn't stop there. So to all of the women, the mothers, I'd like to wish them all God's blessings for Mother's Day tomorrow, and much love and respect. And I pray, Trinidad and Tobago, that as we go into the night, that each and every one has a restful evening, and that God blesses you with a beautiful Sunday morning tomorrow. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Love you.
Thank you very much, George. Riquen?
Well, certainly an interesting evening, and thank you, Madonna, for your presence and your representation of our women folk, and I'm definitely looking forward to round 2. And as George would have said, it's an opportunity for us as men.
Oh, good. See, all your ambition, all your mind. It's a cohesion of us coming together, okay?
The follow-up program, all right? So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to it, and it's an opportunity for us as men to listen, pay attention, and for us both to work together towards a shared vision. That's it from me.
Wonderful. Madonna?
Well, thank you for having me on Men Talk and sharing with the public and the men a lot of things, other things that they spoke about. It's very interesting for us to hear how they feel as well, and ponder and think on it so that we could come to a better understanding and bring that cohesiveness so that we could have growth in our relationships. Have a wonderful Mother's Day, all mothers, tomorrow, God's willing, and see you again soon, Professor.
Thank you so much, Madonna. Thank you, Riquen. Thank you, George. Thank you, Adesola, and our special guest, Madonna J. And we're hoping to have her back next week for part 2 of what men want. And so, blessings to you. I want to end off by, the same scenario. I want people to think about this, and I want to come back for part 2. What do you already think? Someone who has been saving all these years, putting aside money after all the bills have been paid, and it accumulates a large amount, and the marriage goes sour. Who does it really belong to? I want us to think about that even as we leave. So when we come back, members of the public, those who are listening, I want you all to think about it and be prepared to call in and tell us what you think should be done with that particular money. I think that's very, very interesting. I know Adesola gave his point of view on it. I would like to hear what you guys think about it. Male and female, let us know. We will be back hopefully next week at the same time to continue part 2 of this. So God bless you. That's all for Men Talk. Thank you so much to our sponsor, Tony, the Sweet Lady, for sponsoring the program. I want to hand back over to Adesola. And if you have any losing thoughts of the soul, you can go right ahead. But that's it for us here. Amen.
All right, thank you, Professor.
Blessings.
You have a good evening. And that does it for Men Talk for this evening. Of course, I come up next with Global Praise until 12. Keep it locked. Much more to come right here. Isaac 98.1.
Physician to the broken and hurt. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? We got news.
This is Noel Professor Richards, inviting you to join me every Saturday night at 8 p.m. for Men Talk. We will talk about how to live, how to love, and how to lead. It's 1.5 hours of men talking about all the things that men talk about. So don't miss it. It's Men Talk every Saturday at 8 p.m. on Isaac The Promise Facebook page, FBN TV, and Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise.
Hello.
Hey, Jack, you missed the meeting yesterday, boy. What happened?
Andrea was under some pressure, boy. Well, you know, Uncle have diabetes, high blood pressure, and poor circulation. He couldn't even walk properly yesterday, so I took him to the feet lady, boy, Dr. MadonnaJ. And let me tell you something, when they're done with him, he feels so good. You know the man forget he walking stick by them? When I go back for the next session, we'll get back, man.
I must send her number to my cousin. She have a pinched nerve, lupus. And I think she uncle got a stroke, you know. I had to see about my back pain, too.
Well, Andrea, what are you waiting for? Take these numbers down one time. 360-5166 and 478-7416. Dr. MadonnaJ, boy, the feet lady from Anaya Health and Wellness Center. You can't go wrong.
It's